So in the vein of human services, Dave, I want to turn next to you. So today, just earlier this morning, the Bipartisan Policy Center has announced that we're launching a new multi-party computation project. So this is a privacy-preserving data analysis technology, and it's specifically a partnership with Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, and their Human Services Department. And I mean, we're really excited that this is, as far as we know, the first deployment of the technology in human services. And Dave, your firm is of course helping to launch the project. Can you tell folks here a little bit about the project, what multi-party computation is, and why it matters here?
Sure. So we talked about the idea of the importance of sharing data. You were talking about, and we talked about the importance of the idea of repurposing data, administrative data, for making decisions. But what comes with that kind of data is often that data will include facets that aren't key to a particular analysis and are so maybe more sensitive than some others about being revealed as part of the analysis. There are things that researchers don't need to know. And in fact, they are put themselves at risk or risk of liability for knowing if, for example, they have a data set and there's parts of that data that are very sensitive and contain personally identifiable information. If that gets hacked in the popular terminology or stolen from whoever is holding it, doing research on it, that can lead to trouble for everyone. So we've been working on this notion of technologies that can allow people to, let me say it real briefly, compute on data without ever seeing the data. So a picture always helps when it comes to technology. Let me see if we can get a picture on the screen here. So there's a picture here that might help. The notion is that there are many organizations in the government that have data. Census has data. IRS has data about income. VA has data about health outcomes. It helps to be able to take all that data, be able to compute over it, find the information necessary to make policy and other decisions, and then reveal just the part that is applicable to those decisions, so that the rest of the data is never available. In fact, none of the data is ever available in the clear, we'd call it, to the people using it. So the technology we're talking about, multi-party computation, is one of a small family of technologies where we can do exactly that. We can essentially keep data encrypted and in the hands of the people who own the data or know how to take care of it, know what it means, and then share it only in this encrypted form so that it can be shared, it can be computed on with other similarly encrypted data, and then researchers can get access to it. Researchers can ask questions of the data, draw conclusions from the data, but yet they never see the data in the clear. They never see the data in unencrypted form. So you might look at this as the idea of a set of data where you may have information on ages and mental or health outcomes and incomes, and you'd like to be able to ask interesting questions about that in terms of how to allocate public resources. If that data remains encrypted, yet we can ask those questions and find out these statistically interesting answers, then we have a chance of making policy-based decisions without risking the privacy of the individuals. I won't go into the crypto details here, because that's a bit complicated.
Yeah.
But the idea is basically that the data is split into pieces that alone are unidentifiable and make no sense to anybody looking at them, but can be combined together with the use of several computers in parallel that talk to each other only in encrypted ways, and those computers together can answer these questions without revealing the data.
So if you want the crypto details, feel free to follow up later. Why is this so hard to do? Why don't we see more deployment of this approach across government, across the country today?
Well, it's only been in the past, let's say, 8 years that there's been an emphasis on making this kind of computation practical. It tends to still be, today, slow compared to other computation, the other things you might run on a normal computer. It tends to take space, and it tends to take a level of expertise that most programmers don't have. So today you could say that this kind of application is something that only a small group of people worldwide could actually do. We're working right now with intelligence organizations to try to bring that forward to the place where it's easier to use. But there's a long way to go. With any new technology adoption, most technologists will say adoption of a new technology may take 20 or 25 years. We're maybe 10 years into this technology in a practical sense. It's going to take another 10 to get there. What we're trying to do now is, with the help of federal funding, accelerate that so that we can bring this to bear not 15 years from now, but 2, 3, 5 years from now. But it's that lack of expertise combined with the inefficiencies we're trying to overcome, that still makes it somewhat less than the popular software package you would buy off the shelf.